Right, Yamaha na kwaba shronkon ademina mobile platform eso medin emi efia adepa ensma hodwa egusu etwegu no eno ho nkomo ane eba bedi ebesre masem nkoso na man subscribe na man share stories no so mujia comment section no modia man chire feel free me hu madwen chire papa mene mo ka say no yewura Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and Bawumia 2024 DMB 2024 say no vibe no emu ayedin and amonto so aye very massive na menamo ka say no emi say emranim ni baako anase nim before baako abrantie baako e friend say Paul Adomotry obon homodin atna say aye documentary be on a program de bia wataye good evening Ghana na ene no set me anka video ni bi na yesi ebo hodiru e de atremo. He is also trying to showcase the candidature of Yura Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Naturally, say, Mahmoud Bawumia na de buying. What is he made of? Deni duane mu. And I'm on so ben a wit me to nyansa ben a sebi owo. Nim dear ben you krano and a plan ben no yusu. Nina ewo documentary mu say any a home video no ewa has say na and I'm on to say na no is just to justify say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia he is going to win hands down on one of the NPP may be break the 8 Bawumia 2024 I must say possible. It is indeed possible papa now and I'm also saying now right from the beginning from the onset Bawumia by limelight more in politics no and I'm on so to name some wa kanka and so bembe within a dinoni na no ade apene actually say is he qualified, is he competent enough ni na no and I say no I will to judge say Ghana for ABH show mo adwen comment section has say binom say DMB is a genius. We say it is possible. We say it is possible together. Just say it is possible. Comment saying they say the agency sem cry. Say beji bre. Nia kwa kushwe ensem no ne tie bi. And I'm on top muli 2 a much more. Bawumia is competent na 2024 so possible. And some no say ne siko ye. Ye be many fan common and Thomas so madwen chance so mo fan comment section making kind na edi amamo.
A kind of new narrative to the Ghanaian political discourse. And this was about heavy reliance on data. Dr. Bawumia had been doing a lot of political talk with data, and that was very new to the Ghanaian people. Historically, politicians do not rely a lot on data. They rely on personality, advocacy, etc., etc. But here was a great advocate, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who had also introduced this data matter that a lot of the youth were jumping onto. So he had achieved sufficient believability among Ghanaians with his excessive reliance on data. When it was said that he was going to be the key witness for the petitioners, it raised the stakes of this case, and so the case was actually getting bigger.
And this was the election petition. This event turned out to show Bawumia as famously competent, very articulate, a fighter for what he believes in, a respectful and very confident young man. By the time the petition was over, almost every young person in Ghana wanted their son to be like Bawumia. Indeed, Dr. Bawumia got the election petition right.
Let us put down my analysis and show me one repeated polling station in my analysis. If you are afraid of the truth, then of course you will hide behind these exhibit numbers. Dr. Bawumia, I'm sorry. It's not a free fight. Just state your answer to it without any blows. Yeah, but my lord, with the greatest respect, I do not think we can treat this lightly.
After the election petition, it became obvious that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia would be the key spokesperson for the NPP for the 2016 campaign. And whoa, did he not?
So tell him I came to his hometown and he should answer the 170 questions. They have mismanaged this country and their incompetence and corruption has resulted in wahala for everybody. So I'm asking all of you to rise up and let's change this country together. We are going to transform this country and all of us are going to benefit, and the future is for the youth of this country. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless you.
The campaign ended in victory and Dr. Bawumia was sworn in as the Vice President of the Republic. Currently, Opponents of Dr. Bawumia have tried to mount a lot of political dirt on him. They have tried to say that Dr. Bawumia is responsible for the economic challenges that Ghana now faces. They have even called him a liar. But Bawumia supporters will respond sharply. They say that if one can take an economy at 3.4% growth from John Mahama in 2016, grow it in 17, 18 and 19 and 20 and grow it very well, then no one can complain after Dr. Bawumia, after COVID and after Russia-Ukraine war. For in fact, they say that the figures of 17, 18 and 19 show that Dr. Bawumia's economics was working until COVID. Here is Ken Oforiatta presenting the concluding part of Budget 2019.
We have passed a fiscal responsibility to entrench fiscal discipline. We have reduced the fiscal deficit. We have established a fiscal council. We have issued a Eurobond with the largest tenor issuance, least cost, and largest subscription. We have reduced the rate of debt accumulation. We have reduced the overall tax burden on Ghanaians. We have reduced benchmark values by 50%.
So, they say, Bawumia economics works once there is no COVID and major global issues. For indeed, Dr. Bawumia, they say, added nurses and teacher training allowance to the national budget. He added free SHS to the national budget and yet grew the 3.4 economy to 8% and maintained it until COVID. Well, Ghanaians will be the best judge on this matter. But doesn't the opposition believe that the current circumstances are global in nature?
I do think we must also look at the realities of the world situation, the global financial crisis and all that. Our economy is still fragile. This year, we have revised our figures downwards because of the developments in the international markets. You know, China's slowed down, affecting the whole international financial market. Our world has become an increasingly complex one and unpredictable. Majority of economies around the world are sailing against strong headwinds. The world economic crisis and the slowdown in the growth of the Chinese economy has affected the growth of emerging markets and has resulted in a fall in world demand for commodities.
Well, if that was historical, this one is current.
A lot of the economic turmoil that we've just been talking about and that we're seeing around the world is, of course, as a result of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. African countries have largely avoided taking sides on the issue. At the United Nations, Ghana, along with Kenya and Gabon, voted to condemn Russia, but then, of course, Ghana abstained on the vote to remove Russia from the UN Human Rights Council. In your view, were those the right decisions made by the current administration?
I think that it's a period of adversity for the whole world because it's triggering a kind of global recession as a result of the tensions that have been created. But at the same time, it must create some opportunities for Africa.
Oh yes, but when it's time for politics, it's time for politics.
For emphasis, the biggest blame for the current tragic situation in which we find ourselves lies with the very people charged with managing the country and not with the pandemic, not with any war in any country, as has been unprofessionally posited. And Ghana has been treated as an experimental playground or a family heirloom. And I regret to say this was all avoidable.
Now the internal NPP contest is here. Dr. Bawumia could win. At least he leads in the polls. To do so, he must win two contexts clearly. First, the superdelegates, and next, the main context, in which he must win an outright 50% plus one, or else the contest will go into a second round. His supporters say that they are working for a united 70% of votes to further unite the party. Dr. Bawumia may have key party people supporting him, but what fascinates many of his supporters is the real political capabilities of his wife, Hajia Samira Bawumia. Do you remember this?
The youth of this country, we are saying to the NPC that we see you all right. You want us to see you? We see you, but we see incompetence.
Well, if the NPP elects Dr. Bawumia, there sure will be more of Samira and the Samira vibe. Good luck to the Vice President and all the other candidates. May they remember to have a clean campaign. As someone said, John Mahama is the only opponent they have, and they must be wise about that. Until then, good luck.